What's up, fellas?
What's up?
Going on?
Ready for another week of news and discussion.
For sure. I think to start off, we should just talk about, everyone expected Endgame to possibly beat Avatar's records, but it's looking like Hellboy might be right there, you know? It's looking
Breaking
pretty
box
good.
office records, you say?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I could have sworn it was going to be the sleeper hit of the year.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think the best thing they could have done was drop Guillermo del Toro, the Academy Award-winning Guillermo del Toro. I think that was their best move. And I think their best move after that was just starting fresh from the beginning and making just shit that was so forgettable that
recasting the cast a few times. Yeah, it was all pretty smart. So yeah, basically Hellboy, I think last time I checked was like a 9% on the tomato meter.
Yeah, I saw.
It went down to 9.
Rough.
Yeah. Did you guys see the video Rotten Tomatoes released?
No, I haven't.
They did that thing. It started off on 65 and they took it up to 89.
It was the reveal.
Yeah, and then they took it all the way down to 9%. It was pretty funny. Just to rub it in. They're like, this movie's dog shit. So
it's a shame because I love David Harbour. It's just I don't want Hellboy without Guillermo del Toro.
That's
and Ron Perlman. It's why would anybody want that?
I went through the reviews.
It didn't look like anything special.
Yeah, it didn't at all. I went through the reviews, and this seems like the worst roast of a movie possible. And I read multiple reviews that said it seems like a fan parody.
I was gonna say it looks very 2019, which for a franchise like that is not necessarily a good thing.
They said it seems like fans of Hellboy were like, let's make a Hellboy parody. It's
I can see that.
Yeah.
It looked like it tried to mimic imagine somebody who just heard a summary of Hellboy and they tried to mimic a movie from that alone. It looked like they tried to get the feel down from the trailer, that weird house monster looking thing. It's they'd maybe seen one Guillermo del Toro movie before and they're like, I think I can handle this.
Dude, I just feel bad for del Toro because he loves Hellboy and he's gonna watch it and be like, are you kidding me?
Did he not want to do the new one?
He was down. He was down.
Really? Because I don't know what happened. Why he's not back.
I'm pretty sure he wanted to he wanted to do a trilogy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Instead of start new, they wanted to do a third one.
And Ron Perlman was about it too.
Yeah, they both were.
Mm-hmm. So
no.
Hellboy, horrible movie.
We haven't even seen it, but
I don't think I'll go see it unless
I'll see it, but it doesn't look very good at all.
Yeah. The new Lion King trailer came out today. I'm so excited for this movie. I was watching it. I'm just dude, CGI has gotten so crazy. Looking at those animals, that's technically a cartoon. They look completely real.
It's
People
insane.
are complaining. They're like, it's not live action. You're not having a real lion. That's not the point, people. It looks photorealistic. You cannot have a real lion and it be a good movie.
Yeah.
Okay? It looks as real as it could get.
There's not a lot of lion actors out there.
Yeah.
I know people are super mad. They were like, Scar doesn't look realistic enough as in the cartoon. I'm like, okay, so you're comparing it to the cartoon saying it looks less realistic. And I'm like, people are mad he doesn't have black fur. I'm like, as long as he has the scar.
It doesn't. People can trash it all they want, but literally everybody who's ever seen The Lion King is gonna go see it, so it doesn't make it. And then they'll be like, "Oh, dude, it was awesome!" All the people that were trashing it, so it doesn't matter.
As long as he looks like a bad lion. Shoot.
But hearing Seth Rogen sing at the end was just the perfect top off.
Yeah,
it'd be amazing.
Yeah. I love how he was the one that released the trailer too. They're kind of getting all their actors involved because he was the one that tweeted it out this morning. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I know Donald Glover is playing Simba. I'm assuming he's not playing young Simba. I'm assuming that's a different voice, but the fact that they got James Earl Jones back is awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The casting is amazing.
It is, dude.
It should be. We were talking about that last year. Me and Max did a podcast and we were talking about that was when they just started casting people. We were talking about how great it was.
Yeah, it's been nuts. And I know a lot of people were worried they weren't going to be able to do the Lion King soundtrack and live action, but it looked pretty damn good in the preview and sounded pretty similar. So I think it'll be amazing. Yeah. I think it'll be a movie
it'll be good for sure.
Times.
Yeah.
It'll make a ton of money.
Yeah.
The Disney's it's gonna be stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean isn't the animated Lion King? I think that and Toy Story 3 aren't those the only 2 animated movies to ever be nominated for Best Picture?
I know Toy Story 3 was.
Yeah.
Let me look that up real quick.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So I mean that'll draw it too, which that'd be super cool to see a live action get a best or a live action / cartoon get a Best Picture nod or something.
Only 3 have. Beauty and the Beast, Up, and Toy Story 3.
So Lion King's not on
Up
there.
Did? Okay, how about
that?
Dude,
that says it was snubbed.
When did it come out though? That might have been too long ago for it to.
What was it, like 97?
Yeah, they probably weren't there yet with the Oscars.
Yeah.
94.
Yeah, they definitely weren't there yet then.
Mm-hmm. And you guys have any closing thoughts on The Lion King?
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I think it looks great. Awesome. I'll see it. It'll be awesome.
Compared to, I mean, Dumbo and Aladdin. I haven't seen Dumbo. I heard it was awful. Aladdin looks unwatchable. Dude, it literally looks like a Disney XD show.
It looks so unwatchable that I'm probably gonna have to watch it. Like, that's how awesome it looks.
I just never really cared for Aladdin. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cool, but Robin Williams made that movie. It's And I mean, dude, Will Smith is going to get shit on so much.
He already has. He already has.
He already has. And the movie hasn't even come out.
They released an image on a magazine and he got shit on.
I love literally got shit on. The first preview, everyone roasts him alive, and the second one they're like, "Oh, we changed it." And everyone was like, "Oh, it's still really bad."
Disney was handing out the checks to people. They said, "Okay, you got this job. Make it look better."
Yeah. I just feel like, I know we're going off topic a little bit here, but I feel like if you get an actor that big, you can't use their likeness. I know Will Smith's probably I want my likeness in it. Just make him a big blue blob. Don't make him look like Will Smith in genie form, just because
that's what people expected. That's what was so off-putting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what happened in the original one. So, and then Jafar, Jafar was a super cool villain in the original one, and they made him look absolutely I mean, it literally looks like a Disney Channel show. I cannot stop thinking. Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's move on here. So I have not seen it yet, but both of you guys have seen Shazam. I don't really care about spoilers, so you guys can feel free. I'll probably ask you some questions about it too. But yeah, what were you guys' thoughts on that?
Not really a ton to spoil.
No, not much.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I wasn't too worried, because I'm I saw the previews, I read the reviews, I mean, I'm sure it's just an entertaining movie. It's not, some Oscar original writing, plot twists and stuff. But yeah, so if you guys want to talk about Shazam and how you felt about it.
Nolan, you loved it more than me. Why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. And I was super excited for it too. So to walk away and like it as much as I did was really awesome. It's hilarious. First of all, it's super funny. Anyone who tells you that it's not funny is just dumb and they're stupid. So it's definitely hilarious. The only problem that I had with it was there's some CGI problems and some stuff doesn't look too. It's pretty blatantly obvious what's CGI and what's not. It's not very seamless. But just from a writing standpoint and a superhero movie standpoint, I thought it was very, very good. I thought it was hilarious. The end was I thought that the end was a lot different too. I liked the way that, because there's a point at the end where I did not know, okay, how do you win this? I did not know how it was going to wrap up. And what they did, I thought was really creative. It was different than what I'd seen before. So even though it takes some beats and the villain's kind of similar and it takes a few things from other movies, I thought that just execution wise at the end, and they tried to make it as different as they could. I'm blanking on the director's name. David F. Sandberg. Yeah, I thought he did a great job. It has a lot of style. It's hilarious. Zachary, last name blanking again.
Levi
is hilarious. He's great. All the kids are really, really great. It's just fun in general. I want to see it again. I thought it was an amazing time. I love it a lot. It's probably my favorite movie this year that I've seen, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's hilarious. It's definitely funny. It's got some great moments in there. What I found to be the most entertaining about it was not really its funniness, was that had that really charming, lighthearted tone.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. And I just think Zachary Levi, every time he was on screen, I was just loving it.
He's the best part. He's hilarious.
Easily. And it's not even close. I mean, he absolutely kills it.
Yeah, the scene in the gas station is hysterical where they're like, I thought everything about it. They just do so many interesting things, like with him becoming a superhero and trying to figure out like it just felt different to me. I don't know. Like
so it's like a true origin story. It sounds like
it really did.
From what I've read, it sounds like if you've read like comic book origin stories, it sounds a lot like a comic book origin story.
Yeah.
Very because sometimes movies just kind of, go over the whole origin just because they don't have
it seems like exactly what a kid would do when he figures out he has superpowers.
Yeah, I like that.
It's so just lighthearted. So
I know a lot of people have been comparing it to Ant-Man. Would you guys say that's like a fair comparison?
As far as tone, yes.
Yeah, people have said tone and like the way the main character like is on screen and like the passion for the character and stuff.
I would say tone-wise, yes, and that there's like just, I guess I wouldn't say a lot of flair because it feels kind of low budget at times, but there are scenes where there's a lot of flair, there's a lot of flash, and it's really awesome. But I mean, I wouldn't say that it's like exactly the same, but tone-wise and just kind of like directing-wise, I would say it's pretty similar.
That to me is an interesting comparison because I would say, Paul Rudd, as funny as he is, he's not as zany as Zachary Levi is in this. Like, to me, if you're comparing based on the main character, I'd say it's a little bit of a stretch, but definitely tone-wise, I'd say Ant-Man. But Zachary Levi is a lot more zany in this. Like, they really utilize his personality in this. Ant-Man, I like Ant-Man, but they don't really use too much of that Paul Rudd charm in it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, charm is the perfect word, honestly. Like, just charm in general. Like, you could just see it. It looks like everybody's having such a fun time, and it looks like that Sandberg just threw on the camera and was like, just start talking. Just do what you would do if you figured out you had superpowers. Like, you would joke, you would talk around, you would have fun, you would like make fun of it. Like, it's so much fun. The movie in general is such a fun ride that I totally, even the problems that I had with it, they all faded away because I was having such a fun time. I could almost excuse like the things that I didn't like about it just because I could sit there and watch it all day. Like, I could watch him be that character all day and just say random things that are funny.
In what ways did it like connect to the rest of the DCEU? If did it at all? I know about the Superman cameo at the end, and that made me cringe. I watched that on Reddit. I did not like it.
Really?
I thought it was really funny.
I think it's just like, hey, look, like, our Superman doesn't even want to be in this movie. So, like, we're just going to show
kind of, I guess kind of the way.
Like, I feel like it's kind of embarrassing in a sense. It's like, I mean, like, it's cool. Like, I'd say the connection to it, but I mean, it's obviously not as bad as like the CGI mustache thing.
Yeah.
That's probably because the mustache was still there. They couldn't show the top.
Yeah, exactly.
The mustache was still
he's doing the next Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
probably.
But yeah, I didn't really like that. I guess it's cool. Shazam and Superman do have like a long history in the comics with each other, where they are sometimes allies and they're sometimes like sworn enemies. But yeah, were there any other really DC connections?
Yeah, there are big time. So Freddy, I forget his last name. He's a huge fan of superheroes, and that's why
the disabled kid, right?
Yeah, and that's why I really enjoyed that dynamic between the two, because basically his new adopted brother is living the dream that he wants to have, and that's why he's wanting to be so involved throughout the film. And he's just basically like this super huge superhero nerd where he's got like a bullet that one shot at Superman once that's like all crushed and stuff. So the thread is there, and it just needles in with the rest. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I was wondering how much it was going to tie into the others, because even Aquaman had like just one little line that kind of was like that referenced what happened in Justice League. Yeah, it was Justice League. Yeah, and that was like it. And this one had much more of that feel of like, okay, so it is in that universe.
Yeah.
But none of it felt forced. Like, it was all little tidbits, like just little. It never felt like, oh, here, just throw this in there.
No, I wouldn't say it felt forced. I liked it.
No, it didn't. It was very well placed. All the little things.
Because if that were me, that's exactly what I would be like if I was
Yeah.
Freddy character.
Yeah, exactly.
I know like a lot of people complain, and I agree with this. Was there ever like a period in the movie, or was there an explanation for like a lot of times in like standalone superhero movies, you're like, if they're in the same universe, like why doesn't Aquaman show up and help them? Like why doesn't Superman show up and help him? Was there ever like an explanation for like why Superman didn't show up and help him with like the villain, or like was the villain not?
I don't think so.
Was there like a special connection there between Shazam and the villain?
A special connection, I would say
not particularly.
No.
No.
Yeah, just because like I mean, like with Batman and the Joker, like none of them show up to like help Batman fight the Joker, just because like that's kind of Batman's thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have that like connection, but like that always sticks out to me in movies. I'm like, okay, why wouldn't like Wonder Woman just show up right here? And like
yeah,
really, that never really bothers me too much.
It's
like, let them do their own thing. They gotta they got their own adventures to fight.
Yeah, it's really contained
Ant-Man
for the most part.
Ant-Man did a good job, I guess, of bringing that up. It's like, why don't we get the Avengers? And Hank Pym's like, well, they're doing bigger stuff. It's like dropping cities out of the sky. So it's like, at least you attempted to address it. But here, I mean, it's like such a small, it's literally, the final battle is just so small that it's not even worth bringing in the Justice League.
Is it just like a one-on-one fight between the two guys?
Not
for
really.
a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I just want to say before I forget, I love how the DC movies shoot their flying sequences. I think it's awesome, especially like in Man of Steel, where it's like it feels like you're flying with them. I just love
it does.
And
it's
so cool.
Movie does it too, like Man of Steel.
I think, going off topic, I think Man of Steel is like a very good movie. I know a lot of people don't like it.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Man of Steel.
Yeah.
It's between I do too. And like, I mean, Henry Cavill's great in it. I love Michael Shannon. I think he's one of the most underrated actors.
Yeah, Max is with that too. Yeah.
Are you a big Michael Shannon guy?
Oh, he's my favorite.
Yeah,
he's
I think Michael Shannon's great. He gets so into his role, and then like, I mean, even like going back, like Kevin Costner is so good in that, dude. He's like emotional and stuff. Like Russell Crowe's in it. Like there's that movie is so good.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and I think so many people had a lot of hate for Zack Snyder in their eyes before they even saw the movie. That like, I think if that movie came out today and was like, if they would have waited after Dark Knight, waited this many years and then released Man of Steel, I think it would have gotten like a lot better reviews.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard. Like what I love the most about Man of Steel is like when you have a character like Superman who can do just about anything, there's so much you can do with that from a filmmaking standpoint that Man of Steel did pretty well with. Like really felt his like power and his ability.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love the Christopher Reeve Superman film. I love that movie. It's like movie magic. But I mean, you don't really feel the strength of Superman. Out saving cats from trees. So. Yeah.
And the score in that too, like when he's figuring his powers out and he's like jumping, like the score and like I love that movie. I think it's super good. It's a very like emotional movie.
I saw it a couple times
growing up and stuff. Yeah. But yeah. Anything else on Shazam or DC? Any closing thoughts? You both thought it was a good movie? Yeah,
I thought it was great. I think everybody should see it.
Did it set up for Black Adam at all? He's like Shazam's main villain.
I noticed that they included him in the movie a little bit, like through a certain projection. I think that's that was Black Adam.
Yeah, that might be what I was talking about. I don't know.
The mid-credit scene, I don't know what the hell they're setting up.
Yeah, that was what I was confused.
After Nolan sent that, I was like, I want to look.
Oh yeah, because I had no idea.
Something about like caterpillars. Is that what? It
was? That's what I heard, but I don't know anything about that. I don't know.
I have no idea what that means.
I've read like DC comics, but I'm not that familiar with Shazam. I know he's it's like big into magic and like stuff like that, and like so. I don't know there. I think if you're gonna have a mid-credits or post-credits scene, you got to do something that like people know, like a lot of people know.
Yeah, I was confused.
So that's and then next, have both you guys seen Pet Semetary, or you want to talk about that a little bit?
Max can. I didn't get a chance to go. I got called to work. So
I haven't seen it yet. Max, if you just want to give like a
I'll just go.
Yeah.
Stephen King adaptations have always been popular, but now they're getting like super popular. to be honest with you, I never really cared for the original Pet Semetary. I thought it was okay, and this one was like pointless. It was like, what was the point of even making it? They didn't do anything with it except one little minor change. I mean, it's pretty much beat for beat the exact same thing, and all of the horror elements to it were just awful. I mean, I would not.
Was it scary?
No, I was just bored out of my mind.
Really?
To be quite frank. I mean, it's not a bad looking film, and the performances are pretty good, but I just didn't find it to be creepy in the slightest, and it just felt like a total waste because you know, when you do a remake, you gotta at least, you know, up the ante a little bit, and they didn't do so in any way, like in any form.
Yeah. I'd say Jason Clarke, that's a guy who had a good little run, and I think he's kind of just dropped off. Yeah, he's a very good actor, but
he is.
You don't see him making that good of stuff in this past few years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Max, sounds like he wouldn't recommend Pet Semetary.
It's safe to say I would not.
Yeah.
I feel like we've all already seen it anyway, the second freaking trailer. Shit.
Yeah.
I might as well review it, fuck.
Yeah, dude, that's what, when I saw the preview, I'm like, wait, so the girl dies and then comes back?
I was pissed.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know anything about it, and I've already I haven't read the book. I didn't see the first one.
Great twist too, because originally it was the boy.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Him having a sister in the original.
Yeah,
but yeah, they totally ruined that.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for showing us the whole movie.
Yeah.
Next on the template, I have, I mean, the man of the year, probably. Billy Ray Cyrus is back. His hair is more colored than ever. He absolutely killed that verse on Old Town Road.
He's so good.
Dude, I love the video of him in the studio on it because you can tell he's just feeling himself. So
dude.
I went through for like an hour and just read the comments on like his Instagram posts, and it was like some of the funniest stuff ever. It was like MLK died so that Billy Ray could live. It was like Billy Ray has officially like ended racism, like all this, dude. Like everyone was just hyping him up. I'm like, this dude's having the week of his life. Like,
I was surprised at how well it came together.
Yeah. Well, because like just 2 days prior, he was like, Billy Ray Cyrus going to be on the remix of.
It came out so fast.
Yeah,
dude.
And it could have been a huge joke too, but it turned out being like really good.
Yeah. Dude, Billy Ray just writing those rap lyrics real quick. I love he's like got my brand new guitar and like
guitar.
Dude, he hasn't had the hits Achy Breaky, has he? I mean,
dude, I don't know.
I think he's made a song.
Any other song.
Yeah.
He's making music since, but not hits.
He's tried to make.
I looked it up the other day. Besides Achy Breaky and Old Town Road, his next like two most popular songs are from the Hannah Montana movie.
God.
Poor guy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Which people forget that Jan from The Office was in that. She was Billy Ray's like girlfriend in it.
Dude,
she was like a rancher.
Wow,
dude,
a rancher.
She was like a rancher. He shows up there and like falls in love. Dude, that movie is brutal. But you know what? Good for Billy Ray. Good for
them. Yeah,
Lil Nas X, dude.
Yeah,
I saw it's like one of the most dominant #1 songs like of all time. Like literally like of all time in Billboard history.
That's awesome.
Like the gap between the #1 and the #2 song right now is like the highest it's been in like so long.
Oh my god.
Well, I think the original version, people were like, this is like a joke, but it's funny. And then like now it's like, okay, the song's kind of catchy.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. Like I thought the whole thing was a joke, and then he went in there and just killed it.
Dude,
well, I know it's like taking off the 100 Billboard for country music, and then I think he did this just so he's like, okay, well, fuck you, I'll have Billy Ray Cyrus, a country music artist, be on this, and we'll put it right back on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
pretty sure that's what happened.
The thing that was like Billy Ray and Lil Nas like on their way to get Old Town Road back on Billboard.
Dude, that was so funny.
Like Jonah Hex on the horn.
Yeah,
there's been so many good memes about it, dude. But yeah, it's amazing. Check it out. Go support Billy Ray.
Billy Ray, he needs the money.
Yeah, honestly.
Dude, I will say he's been my girlfriend and I were talking about this. He's like, I feel like he is like such a good parent. Like he kind of just lets their kids do their own thing, and he seems to have like a really good relationship with his kids and stuff. If you like look at it, like they're always together as a family and stuff. And apparently him and Liam Hemsworth are like very close as well.
That's good.
So yeah,
he seems like he cares.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude, which is cool to see. You know, some of those one-hit wonder guys are just like assholes and try to grasp onto it forever. But yeah, good for Billy Ray. Next is, I know neither of you watch it, but Game of Thrones is this Sunday. I can't believe neither of you watch it.
I tried.
See,
I haven't even tried.
So here's the thing:
effort than me.
Is I tried about 2 years ago, watched the first season, and I was like, okay. And then I went back and watched the first, because so much goes over your head the first time you watch it. You have to. I watch all my stuff with subtitles. You have to watch it with subtitles to pick up on everyone's names and who's related. Max, I'd recommend going back and watching it. My stepdad recently started watching it, and I told him to watch the first 2 seasons twice. And you really have to, because so much happens and you have no idea it's like happening. And then like season 6, you're like, wait, they're like alluding to that in like season 1. So, but it's going to be amazing. I've never really seen a TV like cultural phenomenon like this. Like there's there's fantasy, Game of Thrones, like fantasy football, like even like sports websites I've been on are like betting odds for Game of Thrones, who will sit on the Iron Throne, like all this stuff. Like it's crazy.
Is this the final season?
Yeah, it's the last one. And each episode's like, well, the first 2 episodes are 60 minutes. Then after that, each episode's like an hour and a half. So they're all like movies. They all have like
how many are in a season? How many episodes?
Yeah, this season they're that long. This season's only 6 episodes, I think.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, there's usually 10 or there's usually 12, I think. Last season had 7. This one had 6.
Okay.
But
I'm doing like a Marvel marathon for all the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I was thinking of doing that for Game of Thrones before the last episode airs.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to grind.
You're gonna have to get on that, because that's gonna be in like 6 weeks.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
One a day, you'd probably be all right.
It'd be more than.
Well, here's the deal.
Well, for 6 weeks.
Yeah. When you get into like seasons 3 and 4, you just go like full. Like you watch one episode after another, because you're so into the story, and at that point you like want all these resolutions. It's just the first 2 seasons that take a while to get through. Like season 1, you can tell is the pilot season. Like it stands out very much. But dude,
as all pilot seasons should.
Yeah, for sure. But like,
just put the foot in the door.
There's season 6, like not spoiling anything. There's an episode called Battle of the Bastards, and you watch it. It's been like analyzed by like film critics and stuff, and it really might be probably like the best battle sequence that's like ever been put to like film or TV. Like it's so insane. The episode had like $110 million budget, like for like an hour and 10-minute episode. And it's so unbelievable. Like basically the premise of it is just like these 2 huge armies just meet in like an open field outside of one of the castles. And it's just like this insane like fight. But Game of Thrones, it's very good. A lot of people are saying it's going to go down as the greatest TV show of all time after this season. I think The Wire and The Sopranos.
I haven't seen either of those either.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't either.
I want to.
I haven't seen The Wire. I know
The Wire. I know what it is. I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. I've heard very good things.
Yeah.
But Sopranos, I think you guys would love Sopranos.
I probably would.
Yeah. Talk about something to like revolutionize TV. I mean, that was one of the first. I mean, you know, in the 80s and 90s, it was all just like cheesy sitcoms and kind of just like slapstick, like detective shows. And then like HBO comes along with Sopranos, and it's like a movie every episode, you know? Mm-hmm. But HBO is just, they have the formula for TV shows. I swear.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I mean, if you name like the top 10 greatest TV shows, like, or poll it or something, I'm sure 6 or 7 of them would be HBO at least.
That wouldn't surprise me.
But yeah, Game of Thrones, get hyped. I saw there was a leak of the first episode. I was so tempted to read all the spoilers last night. I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
You have to. It's almost here.
Yeah. So we can move on here. So this is going to be a theme episode. Max recommended it. We're going with it.
He really just wants to talk about one thing.
Yeah. Max only enjoyed one event from 2004.
One thing in 2004 changed my life forever.
All 364 other days were absolutely horrible. So anyway, it's just going to be a theme episode of the year 2004. We're going to talk about music from 2004, TV shows of 2004, and movies. And I just looked it up, and I'm like, dude, 2004 was a crazy year in entertainment.
It was.
So we can start off here. I think do you guys want to do that thing where we just focus on like one from each category?
Yeah, sure.
So basically you have music that came out in 2004 was American Idiot, Green Day. I love Green Day. They're fantastic. They've fallen off, but have you guys seen their singer? He's like, bro, he's freaked out so many times during like live shows. Like,
I watched
Yeah.
Got off early.
Yeah, that one where they tell him like one more minute and he like freaks out. He's like, I'm not Justin fucking Bieber, and then like shucks his guitar. But they're so good. I think they're one of those people where in like 2020 it'll be like Green Day reunion album and like they'll make a comeback.
Jonas Brothers are doing it, so everybody else will too.
Yeah, dude, I know.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Miley threw on the Hannah Montana wig again too.
Yeah, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Billy Ray's singing. What the hell?
Yeah. Arcade Fire. Dude, I didn't know this album was that old. I thought Arcade Fire is like kind of a newer band. Like not newer, but so Arcade Fire released their first album in 2004. Which I really enjoy that album.
I recognize this album cover. What's that one song on there that I really
It's Wake Up.
Wake Up. Yep.
Yeah, that's a very good song. Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's talk about a good soundtrack. That soundtrack is amazing. And then next, Hot Fuss, The Killers' debut album, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a bad song in that entire album. There's so many good ones.
That's got to be like one of their best albums, probably.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's the album a lot of people know them for. A lot of people don't listen to their new stuff. I think their new stuff's really good.
I like The Killers just in general.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, they're a good band.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have new sounds every album. It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
I just marked this down, but Yeah by Usher came out, which was
I saw that on there too. Yeah.
The album in general, Confessions, is a very good album.
Yeah. And then Hey Yeah, which I think is one of the best rap party songs of all time. By Outkast. Andre 3000 is great. So, but basically, so the album we chose to focus on, hopefully people can figure it out by now, is College Dropout, which was Kanye West's first album. My opinion, it's a masterpiece. I think it's amazing. I was just listening to it a second ago to kind of get updated on it. And I'm like, dude, there's so many social undertones in this. I can't get it enough.
Jesus Walks, especially.
Dude, yeah. So my whole thing about Kanye is, and people say this a lot, he changed rap so much from like, you have to be like this gangster from like the streets to like, along comes this guy wearing like pink polos who was an English major in college, and like he like kills his album. One of the lines that stuck out to me and All Falls Down, he says, we're all self-conscious. I'm just the first to admit it. Because like, that's so true. Cause like in all these other rap albums, all the rappers, like they're like gods and stuff like this. And Kanye comes along and is almost like roasting himself a little bit, like in the music and all this, which he still has his Kanye arrogance that I love. But there's like so much more to it. But yeah, if you guys want to go, what sticks out to you guys about this album?
I see that he won Best Rap Album at the Grammys. This was his first, right?
Yeah, this was the year he did his, I don't know if you've seen it, where he's like, a lot of people ask me what I would do if I didn't win the Grammy. And then he like sits there for like 20 seconds and he's like, I guess we'll never find out. And then he
God, that's such a Kanye thing.
Yeah. I just love that because that's before he was even like so big, and Kanye's like so cocky. I'm like,
yeah,
dude. But yeah,
at least he's always been like consistent personality.
Yeah, he has been.
Definitely, this was the first time I heard Kanye was Jesus Walks, and that honestly might be my favorite song of his because it's just so damn good.
Yeah,
the chorus, the beats, everything is just, that song is just so good.
I mean, the whole thing where he's like, talks about like how people can rap about like sex and drugs and like killing people, and then he's like, but if I talk about God, like my record won't be played. And that's like, he was so right. Like they, you know, but also the skits, to me, the skits on this are hilarious. Like the little 20-second, like, have you guys listened to like the Lil Jimmy skit on it?
No,
I haven't listened to any of them.
So the skits, you could listen to them. They're like pure comedy. And it's just Kanye roasting people who support college. And like the Lil Jimmy skit is he's this kid who he's like, I never got to meet my dad because he was always going to college. And then he's like, but when he died, he left me all of his degrees. And he's like, so now I carry around all these pieces of paper. And he's like, which is so cool because all the homeless people just have regular paper and I have these degrees. And it's just like Kanye going off, dude. And
I'll have to listen to those.
He's just like the perfect, he like channels everything he feels into like his music.
That's definitely his strongest.
Yeah. I mean, Spaceship, which is like him talking about how much he hates working a job. And like hates, you know, he felt like he had jobs just because he was black because they wanted to like show him off in the store. I think Last Call, which is like the 14-minute song at the end, which is like a literal like ballad. Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now. I was about to say,
dude. So if you look up the lyrics to Last Call, the first 2 minutes are a song, and then the last 12 minutes are Kanye just telling the story of how he got famous over the beat. And it's like amazing and it's so cool. And like if you listen to it, you'll like feel for Kanye. Like he had so much fall through. And one of the stories about College Dropout that I saw in an interview by Kanye, he was like in a room with like Jay-Z, like all these like OG rappers and stuff. And they would always roast Kanye and say like, you can't rap, like you don't know how to write and all this. And Kanye's like, I've been working on this like chorus, and like sings it for him. And they were like, oh, okay. And then like Kanye went to the bathroom but could hear them. And they're like, Kanye's so trash. Like Kanye will never be a rapper. And like the chorus he sang them was like the Jesus Walks chorus. So like, yeah, it just shows like Kanye did not give a fuck. But a lot of dudes resented Kanye because they thought he held all the good beats to himself. And they were all like, you're a trash rapper. Like, why are you?
They're just jealous.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it.
Yeah.
But he's got such great soul, you know. And
he
one
does,
of my favorite ones is Ultralight Beam. That song is like, I would say, is like an objective one of the best songs ever. Because it just gives you such good feeling, you know, just how it comes together.
I think if you listen to Kanye and you try to tell me that he is not one of the greatest artists and ever like conveying like emotions and feelings into his songs,
exactly. Yeah.
Like. If you want to hear a song about happiness, like you've got a song for you. Dude, 808s and Heartbreaks is so depressing, and it so like greatly exemplifies like the feeling of being depressed. Like if you listen to it, you're like, this is crazy. Like he very much puts his like energies into the songs. I think it's crazy.
Well, and I like what Max said too, like just about soul in general, because this album and other songs that he's even had since then, especially, like it's not just where he's just rapping. Like a lot of it to me is very like cultural to him, where your chorus is almost like it feels like you're in church, like with a preacher, like just the way that everything comes together. It's
100%.
It's very
that's a great analogy.
Yeah, which I really like that. It's not just so he can rap over a beat and whatever, but then you get to the chorus and you have like your singers in the background, and then maybe
the singing,
and that's what I'm saying. It feels like a church choir, which I feel like I like that how you said soul, because I feel like he really puts his soul into it, and that's like something that he's not afraid to mix. Just I'll have a little chorus, a little like singing with just other people in the background. Like he's not afraid to I just have to rap. I'm a rapper and that's all I can do. Like he's definitely not afraid to make it his own sound, and I think that's something, especially with his choruses, just that he's held on to this whole time, is making it sound just different and making it sound like a choir, and I really like that.
I love going off that, which I think perfectly like goes with that, is the song Slow Jams with Jamie Foxx, where at the beginning he's like, it's Jamie Foxx talking to Kanye, and he's like, we need a song that like gives the ladies a break in the club, that like they don't have to keep dancing. And like, have you guys heard Slow Jams?
I have not.
I don't think I have.
It's so good. It's Kanye rapping with Jamie Foxx like singing in between, kind of having his like Ray Charles voice a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's a very good song.
But he's not afraid to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
is what
he's
I
not
like.
at
Like
all.
it's not just where you're just rapping. Like he's definitely not afraid to sing from his belly in a way, and actually make something that's a little bit more than rap, and it might be music mixed with like something. If he's a rapper, cool. Like you can consider him whatever you want. But I would it's hard for me to just say, oh, Kanye is a rapper, because he sings so well. And he's not afraid to make stuff that's a little bit different, that doesn't feel like conventional rap.
100%.
He's like the gangster organ player at a church, you know.
He really is. Yeah. It's like, you know, all week he's the dude on the streets, but then on Sunday he's always in church. Like, and I feel like you could really tell that, like, he's got both of those cultures and he uses it to make great music.
He does. And he's so smart. People try to, you know, act like he's like a dumb person. I'm like, dude, I think he's just like too smart for himself sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because you're not textbook smart doesn't mean you're dumb.
No, he knows exactly what he's doing.
And I mean, his mom was a college professor. He was an English major until he dropped out. Like I'm sure he's a very smart person.
I think he's doing just fine.
Yeah.
He'll be okay. We don't have to worry about that.
The last couple of things, Through the Wire, like, still holds up to me as one of the most impressive songs ever. Do you guys know like the story about like behind Through the Wire?
I do not.
No.
So basically, when he was working on College Dropout, he got into this, and he talks about it a lot in his songs, which is why Kanye kind of has this boldness about him. He got into this like car accident in LA. He was like driving home from the studio at like 5 a.m. and had been up for like 2 straight days and fell asleep at the wheel, and like rammed into a barrier and like almost died, and like fractured his entire face and his jaw. And Through the Wire, he raps with the wires. Yes.
Wow.
If you go look at old Kanye, he's got very small like cheeks and a small jaw. And after this, like his jaw got so much bigger. But if you go listen to Through the Wire, he rapped the entire thing with wires in his jaw, and he sounds very different.
That's awesome.
And he like opens the song up talking about how he like drank some syrup for breakfast to try to like get through the pain. But like it's called Through the Wire because he's like literally like rapping through the wires in his chin. It's like insane.
Let me put this picture on the document.
Yeah.
This is nuts.
Did you find a pic of the accident?
Of him in a hospital?
Yeah. Dude, he literally like almost died. And that's what comes from his cockiness. Yep, there it is, dude. He's fucked. Yeah. And he says in what is it? He says in one of the songs, this is just so Kanye. He's like, if I almost die and go through all that, he's like, bitch, I know I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, that's Kanye. Like that tells you everything you need to know about him. But yeah, no, since this picture was taken, he rapped like 4 days later Through the Wire.
That's crazy.
Which is like so insane, which I think is so impressive.
He has that dedication. And it shows.
Yeah. So, and then the last thing is I just think College Dropout set up for one of the greatest, a lot of people don't talk about, but like the trilogy of College Dropout. Late Registration and Graduation. I mean, that, I don't know if you can find a better trilogy of albums like ever. That like all the themes flow together, like the sounds flow together while being so different at the same time. And like Nolan said, like it's all so soulful. But yeah. But anyway, so great album. I think it's one of the best rap albums of all time.
It's my favorite. But it's definitely got some like amazing songs.
I seriously, like, after the podcast, you guys should really go look up Last Call, like, is people who like enjoy stories and stuff, and it's just Kanye like storytelling his life, and it's like insane. But it's so good. Anyway, so next we were going to talk about some TV shows that were released in 2004. And I'm like, dude, I was looking at this. I'm like, what has happened to TV? There's so many like season 1 shows during that year where I'm like, these are so good. So you had Lost season 1, which had such a cult following at the time. I talked about Lost last week. I really like Lost, but you have House season 1. I know people love that show. I've never watched it.
I never watched it either.
I've watched a bunch of episodes of it. It's just a well-performed show, especially in that hospital setting. Because usually, if it was in like any other hands or performers, it would come across as like that super melodramatic, opera-like show. But it's really not. It's Hugh Laurie is just awesome.
Yeah, I've heard he's like perfect for the character.
Oh
like,
yeah,
he kills it. Like Bryan Cranston with Walter White type.
Yeah.
Rescue Me season 1 came out, which I mentioned last week. It's one of my favorite shows ever. Just a very solid show. Deadwood season 1. I've watched a few episodes of it. I really want to finish it, but everything I've read and seen, like that show seems so ahead of its time. Like it kind of was going for that Game of Thrones vibe. And I think it just like kind of missed its time a little bit there.
That's the Western, right?
Yeah, it's a Western.
I have never seen it.
Yeah.
Isn't a movie coming out?
Yeah, they're coming out with a movie. They got all the original cast back. But it's like James Marsden. Yeah. And then he's been in a lot. This is the only thing I can remember him. He plays the stepdad in Hot Rod. I forget his name in real life, but he's one of the characters in it.
I think it's Ian Jane.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. That's the only thing I can remember him in. He's like, get up, I'm going to kick your ass. Dude, Hot Rod's so good.
So funny.
Friends final season. We're going to talk about it again in a second. I fucking hate that show so much.
Really?
I have so much hatred towards Friends.
I'm with you on that.
We'll debate it in a second. Drake and Josh season 1.
Show?
No, I've never even seen the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
But I don't like what I have seen, so I don't know. I just don't think we'll talk about it. I just don't think it's
okay.
Drake and Josh season 1 came out. Classic.
Bro, you already know down there that I had to add my boy Danny.
Danny Phantom.
Listen, that's the only superhero that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
For like
Danny Phantom?
Dude, I love Danny. Well, obviously, it's terrible, but I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
We were talking about last night. Someone brought up the question of like if you could fight any fictional character, who would it be? And my roommate said Danny Phantom.
Dude,
I'd fight Apollo Creed.
So cool.
Apollo Creed. But yeah, so the TV show we're gonna focus on is Friends. I can start it off here. I hate it so much.
Really?
I have tried watching it so many times. I've watched multiple seasons, and I just cannot find what people like about it. I don't know if it's just like you don't have to pay attention to it. First of all, I hate shows where there's the laughing in the background.
Yeah, that's what
I hate the laughing track. Yeah, because it's like, don't tell me when to laugh. Like I'll laugh if I think it's funny. I don't. Here's what I usually like Matthew Perry and Jennifer Aniston, like the other stuff they've been in, but I think both of them are very annoying in it.
I like David Schwimmer. He's in that, right?
David Schwimmer is probably the most watchable character in that.
I do like.
And I said it's a straight up knockoff of Seinfeld, which I think very much is. Yeah. So the thing I said that was good, which this always stuck out to me watching it, I'm like, dude, there's so many people in this that were famous, or like before they were real big. I like marked down. So you have Hank Azaria, Paul Rudd, Brad Pitt, Christina Applegate, Reese Witherspoon, Billy Crystal. Well, Billy Crystal and Robin Williams showed up. That's when they were like huge.
Mm-hmm. They were on Friends?
Yeah, they showed up. They were in it for like an episode. They showed up to the coffee shop and like were hanging out with the friends. And then George Clooney was on it, and that's when he was real big from like ER and stuff. But yeah, so Max, if you want to talk about what you like about Friends.
I've only seen, ironically, the very last episode where
really
she's about to get on the plane and then comes back, and that's the only one I've seen. So any other context of any other episode before that, I was like, it's okay. It definitely, you made a good point of like, it's definitely like a Seinfeld ripoff. It's like, like Seinfeld for a dumber audience almost.
It
like
is, yeah.
Audience.
I could see that.
Like Larry David's like intellectual. Friends is like fucking like poop jokes and like shit like that. Like it's like, like.
But I know people are just so into it. Like they love it more than anything.
The only thing I can see is I think it's just one of those shows where you can just watch like 15 minutes of it while you're like doing something. And like, it's like, well, I didn't really miss any, you know,
put
crazy
it on while
stuff.
study and stuff. So.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it a good show.
Yeah, I agree. What about you?
Because I felt the same way and again, I have not seen. I honestly couldn't even tell you any of the characters' names. Like I have no idea. But I've watched episodes where it's on TV and I'm like halfway through it. But I'm with you. I hate laughing tracks. That sucks. But it just I like how you said before, like it's kind of a dumbed down Seinfeld. It just felt just so bleh. And I like how you said it's something that I'm having a whatever with my friends and nobody's paying attention to the TV, but Friends is just on the TV. Like that's what it seems like to make it. It's just something. It's like jazz music used to be. Like you just play it while everybody else is doing something else and it's just on. It's something you don't really pay attention to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels like elevator music for TV.
Elevator music with a fucking annoying ass laughing track going on.
In the future, in the elevators, they'll just play Friends on a little TV.
I mean, I could see it. Like you just put it on mute and it's just there, and everybody else no one's paying attention to it, but it's just there. Like that's what it does.
Like, look, he spilled his coffee on himself. That's hilarious.
Laughing track, click the button.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I've heard a lot of people be like, well, it was just like in a different time. And I'm like, well, bullshit. Like Seinfeld, I watch Seinfeld and crack up. Like it's not.
I watch that now. It's hilarious.
It definitely has not held up because I think people have started ripping it more and more. Like The Office, dude, will hold up for a while. Seinfeld will hold up for a while.
But it's so simple. That's why it's going to age. Really well.
Because you always have a job where there are people that are exactly.
The
characters in The Office, you know.
Yeah, and also Friends is just so like, this is just me being an annoying like fan, but I'm like, okay, like they usually don't have jobs in the show. They have these huge ass lofts in New York City. Like, what about this is believable? Like their entire days are spent just drinking coffee in the coffee shop. Like The Office is like believable because like I work with that kind of guy.
Jim buys his mom's and dad's place and stuff.
Where
they live. So
like Seinfeld's believable because they're like going about their daily like lives and stuff. Like dude, the soup Nazi thing in Seinfeld. Like I'm like everyone's got that restaurant they love. Like basically my recommendation. Don't watch Friends. Go watch Seinfeld.
I think anybody with a mind in their head would agree with that statement.
And the people that don't have minds are the ones that like Friends. Like we said.
Which it would surprise you the amount of people who are like, I love Friends, and I'm like, well, have you seen Seinfeld? And they're like, oh, it's not funny.
Have a high enough IQ to watch Friends. I do. You don't find it funny when you're not funny.
So sorry, Max. They don't know what IQ means. You guys are too dumb to watch.
Intensely questionable.
Yeah.
I love there's a thing on SNL where I think it was Kristen Wiig did a impression of Jennifer Aniston in Friends, and it's just her like making a bunch of noises because that's all Jennifer Aniston does as Friends is she just makes like real high-pitched like O noises like over and over, and she was doing it. It was hilarious.
It's almost like the Chad character on SNL where he's just like, okay. It's like the most basic humor thing that people will find relatable and go, oh, I do that. Oh, Twitter post. Oh, 50,000 retweets, 100,000 likes. Oh, I say every once in a while.
I'm just like, could you make it more obvious that it's a Seinfeld ripoff? Like it's in New York. Everyone lives across the hall from each other. Like they're always going to this one central like breakfast place. Like I'm like, switch it up a little bit. Like come on. Yeah. But not a big fan.
Nope.
I think we just roasted that movie for like 10 minutes. this. You know what?
I've never even seen it.
Yeah, we've all seen like 3 episodes and we're shitting on it.
I've seen the last episode. That's it.
Could be a great show.
Probably
not. So we'll move on here. So, dude, there was a pretty big list of movies in 2004.
Oh, I started adding a bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
A very important one.
Yeah.
You watching?
What are we missing here?
You watching?
Go for it. Yep.
It's the highest grossing movie.
Should have won Oscars. So Max just added Shrek 2, which I think we can all agree with for Best Picture in 2004.
Snub.
The Prince Charming scenes were just what an unbelievable villain.
No other movie has used holding out for a hero in a better way.
Dude, I will say, I used to have the Shrek 2 soundtrack on CD, and that soundtrack
good.
They'd absolutely killed it.
The OJ scene is just they played so it was in my media criticism class.
Yeah.
They played Shrek. You want to hear a funny Shrek 2 story? I'm just gonna tell it anyway. I'll go quick. So they played a clip of Shrek 2 in class referring to OJ, where Shrek is riding on a white Bronco, white horse. The donkey turns into a white horse.
Yeah.
And it's like a cops parody, and they get the white Bronco. And it was hilarious. And I was like, God, that movie is so funny. Because I was dying because I was like, I have to watch this. So like it was like 3 a.m, and I was like, I need to see this movie. So I went to Walmart at 3 a.m. looking for Shrek 2, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I was like, well, now it's 3 or 4 a.m, and there's no way Family Video is going to open up so I can go get Shrek 2, so I just got to go buy it online. Went home, bought it online, and watched like 50 minutes of it, and then fell asleep. But right. It's pretty funny. Like, it's a good time.
Dude, I swear by Shrek, because I think it's that rare kids movie where adults watch it and probably get more humor than the kids would get.
Yeah.
Like Shrek's nervous to meet his in-laws and Shrek 2, you know what I mean? Like it's so much adult humor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't seen the like newer ones. But yeah, I think they're great. The 1 and 2 are great.
Just going through this list, there's so many great comedies that came out.
Yeah. Dude, that's what I was noticing too. Like comedies.
I couldn't believe that some of these came out in 2004. I was writing down movies and I was like, no way, dude.
Yeah. Anchorman, Team America, and Dodgeball, and Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah. Like I had no clue.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, this might be a hot take, but like Harry Potter 3, Prisoner of Azkaban came out that year, and I think that's my favorite Harry Potter movie. Yeah, I think Gary Oldman as Sirius Black. I love the third Harry Potter. It was one of my favorite books, probably my favorite movie.
I know people regard that as the best movie, but it's not my favorite. It's really good, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah, what's your favorite?
I think definitely the last one is.
I think that's where most people are.
Yeah.
A sleeper hit is Order of the Phoenix. That's the sleeper hit for me.
Yeah.
That one is good.
I liked that book a lot. Yeah. And people argue with this. I think anything 3 through 7 is good. The first 2 are just so childish. Like they're not bad movies, but they switch the tone up. I know the first 2 were made by Christopher Columbus is the dude's name, right? Yeah, and he is such a he's a good director, but he's a children's director.
Yeah.
And they're very like children movies, and then like, dude, Harry Potter 3 comes along, and there's like murder and like everything else.
They give to Alfonso Cuarón, and then dark.
Yeah, which I like. I've always said, not to go on Harry Potter too much, but I've always said like it's too soon now. But in like 5 to 10 years, I would love to see like a Netflix or HBO like mini series on Harry Potter with like individual seasons covering on individual books. Just because I feel like the movies were great, but like if you've read the books, there's so many characters that are gonna have justice done. Like Tonks and like all them, like the whole Order of the Phoenix. Like there were so many characters there that didn't really have justice.
Yeah.
And then The Aviator, which Martin Scorsese is my favorite director, but it's one of my least favorite movies of his. I'm not a big fan of it.
I think I've not seen it all the way through. I've seen I've seen parts of it, but not all the way through.
It's I just find it pretty boring. But Saw came out. Kill Bill Volume 2, amazing.
It's great.
Yeah. Anchorman, which is like, I mean,
classic.
One of the greatest comedies ever.
I'll never forget the time I watched that movie.
Yeah, dude, my girlfriend had never seen Anchorman, and we watched it a few weeks ago, and she was like, the amount of times I gasped during that movie, like, dude, when they're standing there talking and it zooms out and he just has this huge boner, like, out of she's like, Mr. Burgundy, I think you have an erection. He's like, oh, this is normal.
Just an illusion.
Yeah. It's the pants are an illusion. But dude, like fucking like Ben Stiller, like Luke Wilson when he gets his arm chopped off in that, and he's like, oh, I didn't see that coming, like just super nonchalant.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller is the Mexican news network, and he's like, the streets run red with Burgundy. Mean Girls came out.
That's a good one too.
I've honestly never seen Mean Girls. It's been recommended to me.
It's good.
I like it.
I'd say it's good.
I actually do enjoy it.
Yeah, I've heard it's like actually like funny. Like it's not just a dumb.
No, it's good.
The Village came out, which has one of the craziest weird plot twists.
I've never seen the Village.
Yeah, I hated that twist.
Do you know what the twist is, Nolan?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. Dude, when she's sitting there, like, hitting the fence and the cop's like, ma'am, I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Like, even when I was a kid, I was like, wait, why? But yeah.
I think I was more disappointed that the monsters were just people.
Yeah,
like,
no, that's
costume.
I think you can make a case for the modern day thing, but yeah, the fact that the monsters were just they were like blind disabled kids.
It was,
like, something. Yeah, it was something weird. I'm like, okay.
Fell apart real quick.
My dog's freaking the fuck out right now. She's just running in circles on my bed. Hellboy, obviously the worst Hellboy.
Easily.
Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
Ron Collins' favorite movie.
Yeah,
dude, I haven't really watched South Park that much, and I watched the Passion of the Christ episode a few weeks ago. Dude, it's so funny. They're sitting there watching it, and they're like, Jesus Christ. You hear like the yelling in the background, like of Jesus getting whipped. And like that episode ruined Mel Gibson for me, where he's just like a raging like lunatic.
God, dude.
Because I love Mel Gibson, and I think he's just so talented.
He is, yeah.
South Park, I love South Park, but they will ruin things for you.
Dude, they do. When they walk in, and he's like, oh, I bet you want to torture me, and like pull table, and he's like, strap me down now.
Yeah.
Like, what? And he's like, oh, do you want to like, he's like asking them if they want to rip his nipples off. Yeah. Dude, when he's going back and forth between his characters and movies, like in between the rooms, I was like, oh my God. And then he shows up at the end, they're like, holy shit, Mel Gibson's fucking crazy.
They just wanted their $10 back.
Yeah. The Notebook. I like The Notebook. I think it's a really good movie.
Really,
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's okay. I mean, if that's what you're looking for, then I'd say it's one of the better ones. But it's not really my cup of tea.
I don't, dude, movies like that where afterwards I'm like, fuck, I hate it. That's why I don't like Titanic. I'm like, that was the most depressing shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, why would I watch that for fun?
For 3 hours.
Let me just watch some old lady like recall as she dies with Alzheimer's. Like, that's fun for me.
Half these people probably had like only the first VHS tape and not the second one, so they only thought there was one VHS tape. They're like, "This movie's really good," except it just ends abruptly.
Yeah, they're like, "What a fun love story."
Yeah, and then they go, it's like they find the second tape. And they're like, "Oh my God!"
Like fucking Titanic, dude. The first half, it's like, "Damn, good for Jack." Like, what a good guy.
Yeah.
No, he's dead.
Ouch.
National Treasure, one of the greatest actors.
You know I had to put that on there. Love that movie. Don't care what anybody says.
He's gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Dude, that line is so funny.
If you guys want, I'm gonna send you the link after this. But one of my greatest discoveries on YouTube of all time, someone made a compilation, and it's just greatest Nicolas Cage acting moments, and it's like 15 minutes, and it is half of it is from like The Wicker Man.
You could probably put the whole movie on there.
Dude,
sucks. Okay?
When
I will be one to tell you
it's so funny, dude. It is so funny when the lady walks up to him. She's like, "Can we help you?" And he just like kicks her through the chalkboard. It's so when he's in the bear outfit and he like walks up to the lady and just like throws a haymaker at her. Like, dude, it's there. There's a few National Treasure scenes in it in the compilation that are great. I didn't know he has a movie. I have to see it, but they focus on it where he's this like executive. It came out in the 80s, and something happens to him, and he thinks he's becoming a vampire. And like his whole thing is he's like thinks he has to like eat his secretary. It's like Love Bites or something like that. It's some sort of like play on words. Dude, it looks so funny. I think that's the same movie where he like does the alphabet. Like if you guys have seen that, where he like screams the alphabet for like 2 minutes. Like it wasn't even in the script. Doing
I was gonna say, it probably wasn't even in the script.
Yeah,
it sounds like something that he would do.
Yeah. She like asks him. She's like, "Hey, can you like Vampire's Kiss? Is that what it is?" Yeah. There's a scene where she's like, "Hey, can you file these?" And he's like, "Oh, you think I don't know the alphabet?" And then he tries to stop him, and then he like just goes and says the whole alphabet.
It didn't make $1 million at the box office.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. God, wait, $1 million?
It did not even make.
What did it make? What did it make?
You know what? It was a character piece.
$725,000.
Yikes! That's unfortunate, man.
It's a simple character piece, dude. There's art in it. Yeah, exactly. If that's made today, dude, it's making $1 billion.
Wow. I'll say, he tries so hard though, regardless of what he makes, and I'll give him that.
Yeah,
dude, he does. He's fucking. What was the thing
amazing.
he tried to make a franchise where he was like the wizard, the sorcerer's apprentice?
It's something like that.
I really think in his mind he was like, "This is the next great franchise. This is Lord of the Rings. Yeah, like this is Star Wars."
God.
It's like Max Landis with the movie Bright on Netflix. He literally tweeted out, "This is my Star Wars." It's like,
oh God,
I hope not.
Dude, they're making a sequel to that. They got both actors back. I'm like, Netflix must just be like, sure, we'll pay.
They don't care, dude. They greenlight everything. It doesn't matter.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll have to talk about Netflix originals.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I'm very angry at Martin Scorsese. His new movies and Netflix
it's pretty good.
Making me nervous.
We'll see.
But yeah. Next, Polar Express, great movie, good Christmas movie. Tom Hanks plays 45 characters in that movie.
I couldn't believe that was 2004.
Yeah. That movie, I was in like first grade. I'm like, I was questioning whether Santa was real, but this pretty much confirms it. So yeah, that was fun. Dodgeball, Shaun of the Dead, Napoleon Dynamite, iRobot, very underrated movie.
Dude, I like iRobot a lot.
Dude, I think if you go back and watch that now, you're like, holy shit, we're well on our way there.
I really like iRobot.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie. Born Supremacy, which I think is the second one.
That trilogy is great. No, I'm gonna call it a trilogy, even though there's like 5. But the 3 originals are
original ones.
So good.
The action in those were so
insane.
Yeah, transcendent. Dude, the action in those are very similar to the action in Daredevil, where it's very like human. It's not like he's James Bond where he like just
not at all.
kills the guy with a punch to the face. It's like he's like a legit human.
It's very
Collateral. Is that the Tom Hanks movie?
Yeah, Tom
Cruise.
Tom
Cruise. That's what I meant. Fuck yeah. Where he's got the gray hairpiece.
Yeah, he's the best.
Big Scientology guy. Team America World Police.
Oh man,
so funny. SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Also,
dude, I think every kid who like went and saw the SpongeBob SquarePants movie in theaters is like in prison now.
Prison now?
Dude, I swear. Saw that movie in theaters. Oh, well, Max, do you have anything to tell us? I always liked SpongeBob, but even at the time, I was like, this movie seems a little dumb. Like, I was like, the whole goofy goober thing.
I love it. It's so
fun.
All
blowing babies will be beaten senseless by every able-bodied patron in this bar.
SpongeBob is another one of those things, too, where it holds up with the adults. You'll watch it. And you'll think, okay, I see the humor here.
Yep.
But yeah, shit. So we haven't even gotten to the movie we wanted to cover.
Max wanted to cover.
Yeah, God, everyone's got to go along with what Max has to do.
Hey.
I'll let Max start it off. It's going to be Spider-Man 2. And Max recommended this. I'm glad I rewatched it because I like noticed a lot more about it. But Max, you can kind of start off there.
When I was a kid, I didn't really like this one too much because like there's not a lot of Spider-Man in it. It's a lot more like character involved, and I don't know what I was thinking as a kid because this movie is brilliant, and that's why it's like I love like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 more than the first one because the second one is so character based. It's like just really beefing up the character and making him better, and this one just nails it because what I noticed is like everything that they're critiquing Peter Parker on, like all the people in his lives, he does just in another life, and he literally just can't tell anybody about it because it's a secret.
Yeah,
the guy just cannot catch a break at all.
Yeah, that's what stuck out. Yeah,
it's so heartbreaking and so deep and emotional. Like it was kind of hard to watch at times because it's like every kid wants to be a superhero. But no kid thinks about the difficulty of being one and, the consequences, of your personal life that come with it. So I think it's really deep, especially for a movie that most kids have watched. Like, I know I watched the movie as a kid. So I just think it's all around awesome.
Yeah, like you said, I think the reason I didn't really like it as a kid, there were just so many complex themes. But, like, I'm like, this is very – so one reason which – I always kind of preferred DC because I'm like, it makes it seem like this is what would happen if there were superheroes that were real, which the MCU's done a better job at that lately. But I was watching Spider-Man 2 and I'm like, this does a great job. I'm like, a superhero isn't this like larger than life figure. Like he's juggling so many different personalities here. Like, dude, and it is sad. He's like super poor. He's like saving so many people and he doesn't get paid back for it at all. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And I just said like Peter deals with problems that like seems like it could actually happen if there was a real life Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The thing that initially stuck out to me, the opening credits with like the cartoon recap of the first movie, that's really cool, I think.
Yeah.
James Franco's good in it. I didn't really like him as Harry in the first one or the third one, but I think in the second one, he kind of like, it makes sense where they go with the character. Like he's kind of inheriting like his dad's company. He's kind of turned into this businessman who like doesn't really, you know what I mean?
I like what they did with the character, but I think the performance wasn't as good as it was in the first movie. There's like a couple of parts where it's like, oh no. Like
the part where I was watching the Everything Wrong With and they roasted him during that like birthday scene. James Franco's just like standing off to the side, like mumbling the happy birthday song. It's like so cringeworthy. You know what you're looking for. Dude, after the birthday, I wrote this down. I was like, this is pure Peter Parker. This is pure Spider-Man. When he's talking to MJ and she's like, oh, I just wanted to let you know, like I'm seeing someone now. And he was like, oh, cool, a therapist. And she was no. So I was like, that's perfect writing right there. Like these guys have read their Spider-Man comics. Like that's and then I also just wrote down like Raimi wanted it to be a horror movie so bad. Like he was like, I think he wanted this to be like an R-rated movie originally.
The surgery scene is like damn near horrifying.
Dude, the lady clawing the ground as he pulls her, and I'm like, what is going on here? But
it's so Evil Dead-ish. It's so Evil Dead-ish, like with the chainsaw and stuff. Like a surgical chainsaw. What is that even doing in there?
And just talking about Evil Dead, the Bruce Campbell cameo.
He's just great. He's just great.
I love that dude.
Yeah.
And I said it was one of the worst Stan Lee cameos I've ever seen. He's like, it's during Spider-Man and Doc Ock are fighting at the top of a building.
He just pulls someone.
He just grabs some lady and pulls her back. It's like half a second.
Watch out.
I'm definitely with you guys where I think that I hated this one as a kid a lot. I just couldn't stand it. I don't even remember watching it more than once, honestly. But I'm with you now where like it's very mature. And I like what you said where it's very real. Because to go back and watch it now, like Max said, where everybody wants to be a superhero, but you don't think about the consequences of that. And that's why kind of Daredevil was my favorite TV show, and I think it does the same kind of thing where it's like, okay, you see this guy's real life, and it's so you spend most of the time with Peter Parker, and you see like his life and how where he's just a guy, and the superhero thing is kind of like a side. It's not the main focus. It doesn't make the movie. What makes the movie is that he's this guy who just can't win. He just gets beat all the time, just gets the shit kicked out of him. And that's what makes him such a great character, is that he just can't, he's just always losing. But in this other life, like he's always winning. But that's what's just so interesting.
It's such a conflict of like personalities like clashing there almost.
Like the dude that he wants to be, he is, but he just can't.
He's not.
Person. I love that.
I also love how, I mean, like the whole movie just like gets his ass handed to him like over and over in every aspect. And then like at the end, like his mentor, he like makes proud and like like wins the fight, gets MJ, and like it's a good ending. But yeah, have you guys seen The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman?
No, but I have a friend that just loves it.
It's a great movie, but I was watching an analysis of it, and I'm like, that's a great point, because at the end, they're all happy. MJ comes to him. They're like, we're going to get this life. She's like, go get him, Tiger. And he leaves, and then there's this like look in her eye, which is very similar to Graduate, where I think she's kind of like, oh shit, so this is like what our life is now. You know, like it's kind of like,
totally ready.
Did I just do that? Yeah. Because like at the end of The Graduate, you know, spoiler alert, it did come out 50 years ago, but don't want to ruin it for anybody. But at the end, they like run off from their families and finally say like, fuck it to their families and go off on their own. And they're all happy at first. And then they're sitting there on this bus, like just surrounded by people. And they're just like, there's a look in their face, like, what did we just do? And like, that's what it was comparing it to. And I'm like, I could kind of see that. And that kind of makes sense where they went story-wise in the third one.
Yeah. It's like you give in to the excitement.
Yeah. Another thing I saw is like, I love Sam Raimi. I don't think he gets enough credit for these movies. But it said like the little details in it, like you can tell he knew he was making this a trilogy. Like a lot of the stuff he like set up for, a lot of the ways he like transformed Peter, like MJ and Harry. I wish they would have given him more director control with the third one.
Yeah.
From what I've read, like the studio.
Because they're so, the first two are so good where the way that I've always seen them is I love when a superhero movie where when the normal guy is his secret identity. Like that's really what it is. So the whole movie you watch Peter Parker, and that's not who that is. That's the secret identity in a way. Like Spider-Man is who he is, who he wants to be, but it's such a flip on it because you see the secret identity the whole movie. You see like the fake Peter in a way. That's not real Peter, but what everybody else sees is what is the real Peter. And that's what I like so much, is where like he's getting trashed almost by his secret identity, and then like the real him, the Spider-Man, is what everybody loves, but that's him. That's what he can't show everybody. And that, like the fact that they do that with what they did not do in the third, that character, like where it's just a conflict of characters.
They made you hate Peter. I'm like, you know why? But and I know they told him like, hey, you have to shoe in Hobgoblin, Sandman, and Venom. Like, good luck. And like, it's like,
I know he wanted to do the Lizard. That was
and he set up for that perfectly with him being Peter's professor and like everything else. And then I know he wanted to do a fourth with like the Vulture.
I
bet that could have been really good.
Possibly doing that.
I watched there was like an hour long. Someone made like almost a documentary on what the fourth Spider-Man would have been like, and apparently he wanted his opening scene to be Mysterio, but he was like this overweight old Mysterio, and it was Bruce Campbell, and like Spider-Man like rips his mask off at the beginning, and like it's Bruce Campbell, and they kind of look at each other because they're like, we've definitely met before, because like no one knew who he was. It's him turning him in, and I guess the whole movie is like he wanted it to be like glorify Spider-Man, like Spider-Man putting all of his rogues gallery away. And then Vulture like comes out and is like more powerful, and Spider-Man like breaks him down and everything. And I'm like, dude, why couldn't he have made that? You know, like
Tony sucks.
Yeah, they do. But yeah, so that wraps it up for Spider-Man 2. Do you guys have any closing comments with Spider-Man 2 there?
It's for what it is. It's a 5 out of 5 for me. it delved into themes that most superhero movies had not gone into before.
Yeah.
Same with like X2, the second X-Men film. It deals with like mature themes and it does it super well.
Well, that's what I was going to say is it makes me want to go back. I always liked the first X-Men, and I know X-Men 2 is like, some people say it's like the greatest superhero movie of all time.
It's awesome.
And and I haven't watched it since I was probably like 6 or 7.
Yeah,
so I really want to go back and watch it because I really think it'd mean a lot more to me now.
You should. I just watched it the other day. It's so.
Yeah, I'll probably have to do that soon. But yeah, that made me want to go do that. But yeah, so that wraps it up. Some stuff for next week. I know we were talking about there's no movies coming out, so nothing to really follow there. Yeah, Hellboy, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
go flood the box office for Hellboy.
Yeah, seriously.
And then
another
one. There's a really inspirational movie with Topher Lee coming out. Or Topher Grace coming out. Topher Lee, yeah. But yeah, don't go see that movie. It looks horrible. But yeah, Max, you didn't watch the clip for Endgame, did you?
No,
Are you not wanting to?
We won't say it then, yeah.
Right there, I'm just gonna wait. I'll watch the special look, but
there was nothing crazy that happened in the background or anything.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Okay, now
I will have to talk to you about that, Luke, though, because I read something. I read something. Yeah,
okay.
I don't want to do it while Max is here, and
Yeah. All I'll say real quick is if you saw it, I 100% think it was intentional. A lot of people are saying it was just like a random thing. I think it was intentional.
At first, I thought it was random, but the more I listened to it, I think it's intentional. And I'll have to tell you what I think because I saw something yesterday that I was like, okay, that might make more sense. So I'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
I will just say if it's a clip released, there's probably no way it was an accident.
There's no way.
Yeah.
If it's the clip they released, it was probably intentional. Whatever it is, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, next week we'll figure out. I don't know if we'll do maybe we can do a theme episode again, just because there's not much coming out. Some more like personal favorites, stuff like that. And I'll do a quick review of the first Game of Thrones episode.
Okay.
Next week as well.
First one?
Yeah, because the first one's this Sunday.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
So I'll just do a quick little recap. Not a recap, but just kind of a review of what I thought and where I think they're going. But yeah, that can be on the template for next week.
Cool.
But yeah, I think that wraps it up. So.
Alrighty.
Peace.